Okay, you guys, so this is by no means professional. This is just a rookie. This is my second time trying to do this or attempt to make a brisket. So we're gonna give it the best we've got, and we're starting off today with a USDA Choice brisket that was on sale. So I'm gonna show you guys how I prepare it, or how I'm gonna prepare it, by watching other people's videos and everything, and just trying to figure it out on my own. So like I said, this is not professional. If you guys have suggestions or tips or anything like that, please let me know down in the comments. And yeah, so let's get into this. Get the flash going. So the first thing I'm going to say is the knife I'm using is a Victorinox. This is a semi-stiff, so it's like a 6-inch semi-stiff boning knife. One of the best tools you can have in your arsenal. Let's get this big boy. So first what I'm going to do is drain. So we're going to drain the brisket. It's a 17-pound brisket, and we ended up getting it for even cheaper than that. So I think it was like $1.97 the pound at Kroger. So let me drain this real quick, and then I'll show you when I have it on the tray ready to trim up. Okay, so check it out. What I'm doing here is just trimming off a lot of the excessive fat that it does have on there. So you want some of the fat, but you don't want all of it. I'm also trimming off a lot of the ugly stuff. Like you can see that hole right there in the middle. I don't know what that was, but I'm trying to trim off all of that excessive ugly stuff. The silver skin, if some of the meat looks kind of ugly looking, you kind of want to cut that off as well. And like I said, all I'm doing is trimming off. That corner piece looks kind of ugly, that end piece, so I'm trying to trim that off as well. Try to keep it as smooth as you can, so that whenever you're smoking it, the smoke is going around your brisket smoothly and not like at points. Or it's kind of hard to explain, but what you're trying to do is just keep the flow of the smoke or the heat going evenly. And like I said, just trim off as much of it as you can. Like right there, I went a little bit overboard, but if that happens, oh well, you do the best you can. Okay, so here what I'm doing is just spreading some mustard on top. Doesn't have to be a whole lot, just, you know, a considerable amount. And then you're gonna want to spread all that mustard around the brisket. So I started off with the top part, or the bottom part, whatever, whichever side you choose first. And you just smear that mustard around. And what the mustard does is act as a binder for whenever you throw your spices on top. They have something to stick on, and you can create that crust that you're gonna have later on. Now time for our rub. So to prepare this rub, we're gonna be using 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, 3.5 tablespoons of salt, 2 tablespoons of black pepper, 2 tablespoons of onion powder, 2 tablespoons of garlic powder, and 2 tablespoons of paprika. Now I used this amount for about a 15-pound brisket after I trimmed it, but you guys can use as much or as little as you want. Just use this as a base for yourselves. Okay, so now that you know what rub we're going to be using on this brisket, now it's time to start seasoning the meat. So right here what I'm doing is just grabbing some with my hand and just kind of sprinkling it over, trying to keep it even if I can. Grab it on the edges, try to coat the whole brisket as much as you can. So right now I'm starting off with the top part, trying to cover up as much of it as I can, and that's where the mustard comes into play. You can see where the seasoning is really sticking to the brisket, and that's what we want. So you just season it as much as you can, and then we're going to flip it over on the other side. So right now we coated the top part. Now it's time to cover the bottom part. So again, you're going to do the same procedure. Throw a little bit of mustard on there. See, it's not even a whole lot. And then you start smearing it or spreading it around with your hand. And then you continue with the process of throwing the rest of the seasoning on there. Cover as much of it as you can. And the amount that I used was pretty accurate. But like I said, you can change it or move it however you need to. If you need more or something else, then go ahead and do that. Okay, y'all, now that we got the fire going, time to break it up and throw our hickory log in there. Today we're smoking with hickory. So that's what we got.
So right now what I'm doing is just moving the fire around now that all the logs are lit and everything is caught on fire. I'm just spreading out the fire evenly, that way I can throw my hickory log on top of that and start letting it produce that smoke that we want. So we want to spread out the briquettes, the charcoal, or whatever you're using, and just spread it out evenly.
So this here's our hickory wood that we bought like at a Walmart bag. You can just buy it from Walmart. So we're gonna start letting that kind of heat up. Let it do its thing. So you can see right there, got it open just a little bit, got our fire going over there. So what we want is for this thing to start smoking. We want to get it down to smoking here, so we want it to be around anywhere from like 250 to 300, like 275. That's what we're looking for.
She's smoky, boys. Okay, so now that we've let the logs start producing that smoke that we want, it's time to throw our brisket on there. We've got about 250 degrees or so. So what I'm gonna do here is flip it over, because I want the fatty side towards the fire and you want the lean side or the flat part of the brisket towards the exhaust or the stack. So right here I didn't even put it that close, so I try to leave it more towards the side opposed from the firebox, and like I said, fat side towards the fire because it's the thicker part.
Okay y'all, so we've got it right at the sweet spot. So we're at like 275. If I wanted to, I could open up the exhaust a little bit more. Just right there. That works out. And got it cracked about that much on the firebox. I'm gonna just open her up real quick. So we're golden on that. So yeah, so I just put it in, and from here I'm gonna give it 2 hours. Then after those 2 hours, I'm gonna come and check it, spray some water on it just to keep it hydrated, and check out and see how it's going. So my total smoke time is gonna be about 6 to 7 hours, and then the rest of the time I'm gonna send it over to the oven at 250 degrees and let it keep cooking until it reaches an internal temperature of about 200 degrees. Okay y'all, so check it out. It's been 2 hours since I put it in there, and we're steady right there, 250, 254, around there. So right there, that's how much we've got it opened up. It's not smoking as much, but we're still good. That's my opening. So let's check out the firebox real quick. So there's our firebox. So we got a steady, good fire going. I'm gonna move it a little bit, throw some more charcoal in there. So it's been 2 hours. Let's check on our brisket and see how it's doing. Okay. So we've got some nice coloration going in there. Starting to pull apart a little bit right there. That fat cap. So here's about the time that I'm gonna hydrate it with the water bottle. Get it nice and hydrated. Keep it going. Okay y'all, so we're gonna start spritzing it. Okay, so after 4 hours, so another 2 hours, come back out here, and we're just under 250, so about 240, 238, around there. So let's check on the brisket.
Okay, so not much has changed. Well, it's changed a little bit, and we're just kind of seeing the fat render a little bit better. I mean, it's looking good. This area here is getting a little bit more dry, but this is all the fat on it. But it looks good. I'm gonna rehydrate it one more time before it's time to take it out. So let's go ahead and do that. Pretty much, I just want to hydrate it as much as I can. It'll be good. It's looking all good from here. So we just want it to be super moist. And there's no point to really check the temperature, but I'm just gonna go ahead and do it anyways just to see what this thing is reading. So we're like at 113. I mean, so our whole aim is for it to go to 200, 205 around there. So we're doing great. It's all part of the process. Okay, well, let's close this again. Let's check out the firebox real quick. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just turn it around a little bit, and this should give us enough fire for the rest of the other 2 hours. So we'll have a total of 6 hours of smoking, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so after another 2 hours, the temperature came back down to like 200 and something, and I mean, that's fine. We're gonna look at the brisket anyways, and here we go. So in my opinion, it looks like it's been smoking enough. So from here, what I'm gonna do is place it on a tray, cover it up with aluminum foil, take it inside to the oven, and then just finish the cooking process in there. So we're gonna be doing 250 degrees until it reaches an internal temp of about 205 degrees internal. So we cooked it for a total of 15 hours, 6 hours smoked and then 9 hours inside. And that's what it looks like after pulling it out of the oven. We're still gonna let it rest for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Let the temperature come down a bit, leave it covered in the oven. And I'm also gonna check it with the thermometer. So it's reading at 210 degrees. So that's what we want, about 205 to 210. Now we're gonna cut into the flat side. I had to cut it in half because my cutting board is kind of small. So this is the flat part that we're cutting up first. It's supposed to be the drier part as well. Also, I smoked the brisket for 6 hours. So we don't really like the smoke flavor to be as strong. If you want a stronger smoke flavor, then leave it smoking for more time and then cover it up. But if you want just a light smoke where it's not overpowering and it's just enough, then 6 hours is good to go. 6 to 7 hours and you're like at the sweet spot. If you want more, you can do more. And yeah, so this meat is like really tender. You can see the smoke ring, the red around the meat, but it's like falling apart, and this is the flat part. So they always say that the flat part is like the driest and not as juicy, but for me, you can see where it's like falling apart on me. So you can see just how good that is. It's like, it was so delicious. Let me tell you, so delicious. Right there, I'm gonna do the bend test where they do it with the fingers and tongs, but look, it just falls apart. That's what you want. You want the meat to bend all the way through like that. That's how you know it's good, it's ready, and it's fully cooked. Take a little piece. Oh, like I said, this brisket was really good, and it's my second time trying it out. That was the macaroni and cheese, baked macaroni and cheese, and then those are my slices right there. Now we're moving on to the fatty part of the brisket. You see how it's jiggling? That's what you want. You want the brisket or the fat part, because we still got the fat cap on top, but you want it to jiggle a little bit. That lets you know, that's the indication that it's real nice and tender. And I mean, just look at these slices. If the other ones were falling apart, these are even more tender and even more juicy, and these are the ones that are full of more flavor just because of the rendering of the fat and everything else. But I mean, just look at that. That's just so delicious. Okay guys, so of course you've got brisket, you gotta have some chopped beef. So for dinner that day we ate a couple slices with some barbecue sauce, but I also chopped off some of the flat parts because that's what you want to slice up the most, and then, you know, a little bit of the fatty parts as well, and get you a hamburger bun, throw that sucker on there and some barbecue sauce, you're good to go. I had some beans, some baked mac and cheese, that's the barbecue sauce that I used. You got yourself your little sandwich. Look at that. It was a feast, I'm telling you. It was so good. And you can't forget your Coke. Okay, and that was the end of the brisket video. So I forgot to close out that video because I ended up eating, got full, took a nap, it was over. But it was a really good brisket. That was my second time trying to make it. First time it was pretty horrible. This second time, after watching other people cook it for so long, other people's videos and everything, I got the courage to try it again. I found the meat on sale because I didn't want to ruin a second one like that, or that expensive. Next time, what I'm gonna do, I don't know if I'll make a video of it or not, but next time I cook a brisket, same amount of time, same procedure, maybe smoke it a little bit longer, a little bit more salt, and letting it rest a little bit more. But other than that, the whole thing was great. As for the mac and cheese, maybe bake it a little bit less time, try and get it to be more creamy. But other than that, I mean, everything else, like overall the whole thing was flawless. It was so good. I can't believe, like, honestly, it was better than restaurant quality in my opinion. I mean, everybody's gonna think the same thing when they cook their own. They're gonna say, oh, mine is better than so and so. Honestly, I think mine's was pretty good and it was like top quality. But like I said, everybody's gonna think the same thing. So if you want to cook it, if you want to try it for yourself, go ahead and try it. Try to follow my same procedures and you should be successful. Now if you change something, then that's on you. But give it a try. If you never try it, then you're never gonna know if you're good or not. So yeah, that's the end of this video. If you guys enjoyed it, please leave it a like, comment down below and let me know what you thought of the video. I'll try to pin a comment down there asking some kind of question just to get more people to comment on it, see what you guys are thinking, and share it with people, share it with your friends, share it on your social medias, TikTok, Instagram. My Instagram and my TikTok are in the description if you want to follow me there. But other than that, I'm out of here. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.